Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the It Girl Mindset. Today, we're diving into how to actually reinvent yourself in 2026. I promise you, it is not too late, okay? I know we're almost halfway through the year, but truly, you can decide at any moment in time when you want to change. And it's a lot easier than you think when you actually do the inner work. You brainwash yourself, you focus on your nervous system, you build that safety in your bigness, in your success, in your capacity, okay? If you follow this plan exactly step by step, you can completely transform your life in 90 days. And I know that's a big claim, but truly, if you actually do the inner work as well as take the action, you will be shocked at how quickly your life can change if you let it. So, if you're ready to radically reinvent yourself, then you're definitely going to want to stick around to the end. I have some exciting announcements at the end too. Something that you can try absolutely for free that's going to help your journey just be so much easier and so much more actionable. So let's go ahead and get into it. Welcome to the It Girl Mindset, where I help you step into the next level version of yourself by mastering your mindset, manifesting your deepest desires, and connecting deeply with your body. It's about becoming the most authentic, radiant, unapologetic, and unbothered version of yourself. Together, we're going to chat about how to unlock your true potential and create a life that feels as good as it looks. If you're ready to become the healthiest, hottest, and most abundant version of yourself, you're in the perfect place. Let's get into it. First off, we're starting out with refining your identity. I'm not saying create a new identity, because if you've done any personal development work, if you've been following along on the podcast, you know that when we are looking at our identity, we're not just changing or starting over. We're refining who we are. We're getting closer and closer to our authentic self. And, authenticity is not something that's come easy to me, right? And that's why I look at your identity as refining who you are, because your identity dictates everything. It dictates how you show up. It dictates your beliefs, your nervous system. Everything you have in your life is based on your identity. And your identity is who you truly believe that you are. And this can change. I think a lot of people think that your identity is fixed, but it's not. You can change your identity whenever you want. I've changed my identity so many times, and I'm continuing to, because I'm refining and getting closer and closer to my true authentic self. And I can say with my whole heart and soul that right now I am more authentically myself than I have ever been. And this is coming from the girly who used to be so self-conscious, so in her head, quiet, mute, afraid to speak her mind, afraid to put herself out there. Honestly, had minimal friends because I didn't know how to be confident in myself. I was a people pleaser, okay? So if I can change, so can you. And it can happen so much faster than you think. But when it comes to your identity, if you are like, I don't even know who I want to be, then a really good place to start is to just get to know yourself. Who are you? What do you enjoy doing? Who do you want to be, right? And it's fun because I like to think about it as, this infinite potential. There are so many different versions of yourself that can exist, and you get to try them on. So maybe you're like, okay, I want to start a side business. I want to go all in. I want to enter my CEO era. Amazing. Try that on. What does that look like? What does she do every single day? What is her morning routine like? What are her habits? What does she look like? How does she dress? All of those things, getting crystal clear on who that version of you is going to allow you to actually have a direction, right? Because if you're just like, yeah, I want more money, or I want to be more successful, or I want to look hotter, or, I want to be happier. It's like, okay, those are very general blanket statements, but it's so much easier to actually go step by step and become this next level new version of yourself when you have a vision. You have to have a vision, or you're not going to know which direction. So refining your identity gives you so much clarity, and so much actionable steps, which we're going to go into how to actually take that action in the end. Because there is so much power in the mindset work. There's so much power. This is the It Girl Mindset. I'm a neurobehavioral coach. We change the mind to change the actual action. And there's so much power in the mindset work. But you have to take the steps in the real world, or else nothing's actually going to change. And I also fell into that trap for a really long time where I was like, I'm doing the mindset work. Why is nothing changing? I'm like writing down my next level identity. Why is nothing changing? But I wasn't actually showing up as that next level identity. I wasn't actually changing my behavior. I wasn't changing my habits and my action. And yes, there are so many ways to change your mind and change your inner world, doing the deep work to actually change your behavior. But sometimes it's about just taking that first step. You can't just do the inner work. You have to actually put in motion to create real momentum in your life. Okay? And that's a lesson I had to learn the hard way. I was like, why am I so stuck? Oh, I'm actually not taking action. I'm just doing the inner work, which there is a time and a place where you need some space to just really do that deep inner healing work to really find yourself. And if that's you, where you're like, I have no idea who I am. I have no idea where I want to go. I have no idea how to refine an identity because I don't even know who I am. Take some time to get to know yourself. Spend time alone. Try new things. Try on different hats and see what sticks. Because I tried on a million different hats before I actually was like, oh, wait, this is actually what I like and this is what I don't like. This is what fulfills me. This is what doesn't. This is what makes me feel good. This is what doesn't, right? Like trying and learning about yourself is going to be the best way that you can be like, okay, I've tried all these things. I'm learning so much about myself. I know who I am and I know where I want to go. Okay. And if you are really like, I don't even know where to go, first, regulate your nervous system so you can sit and be present with yourself and let intuitive pings, universe, higher power, whatever you want to call it, just your future self, if that feels more aligned, let that come into your brain and your body so you can start to follow those pings, right? It might not be some grand thing that's like, oh, you're meant to do this. You're meant to build a pottery side hustle, right? Like it might not come in this big wave, but trust that curiosity, trust that whatever comes into your brain and feels exciting, follow that, right? That's how you can become really even more in tune with yourself and will guide you those next steps, right? Your desires are your direction. So refining your identity. Answer all those questions. Get to know yourself. Who are you and where do you want to go? And what does that future self version of you do every single day? Getting nitty gritty and specific, okay? The next step is to recode your inner world. Okay. Your internal coding, your identity, your beliefs, your emotions, all came from how you were raised, experiences that you've had, things people have told you, society. There are so many reasons why we are the way that we are. And nothing about your identity, your beliefs, your nervous system, your emotions, none of that is fixed. You can recode all of those. I named my one-to-one coaching program The Code because we all have a code in our body and in our brain. We are the way that we are for a reason. And I like to think of it almost like a computer system, right? We've got the software. The software is what makes the computer work. And depending on how you click around, depending on what the software is, will determine what actually pops up on your computer, right? That's exactly how our life is. Depending on the coding and the software of our brain and our body depends on not only how we show up, but in turn, the opportunities that come about, things that we notice, the action that we take, right? It all has to do with our inner world and our inner coding, okay? So, a couple examples of how this actually can impact your life. Hi, my love. If you're someone who's built a life for herself that looks pretty good on the outside, you've got the house, the job, the partner, but something just feels off and you just cannot quite put your finger on it, you probably keep getting this feeling that you're meant for more, but haven't actually worked up the courage to do anything about it. If this sounds like you, I want to personally invite you to The Code. The Code is a high-touch, private mentorship container for the women ready to do the deep work to become the hottest, richest, and most successful versions of themselves. It's time to create a life that feels as good as it looks. This isn't another framework to follow. It's about releasing emotions, limiting beliefs, and old patterns that are truly holding you back from becoming the hottest, richest, most successful version of you in a way that's actually authentic to you. When you recode your mind, body, and energy, you wake up with energy, excited to take care of your body and absolutely crush your day. You admit to yourself that you want to be wealthy and go after it, not from a state of delusion, but pure knowing. You make decisions and trust yourself. You're absolutely obsessed with the life that you're building because it's your version of success. Your code is about learning yourself, not a watered down version of you, but the deep down big version of you that kind of scares the shit out of you. If you're ready to meet that version of you, apply below. The link is down in the show notes. I can't wait to read through your application. Okay, back to the episode. Okay, even authenticity. Let's talk about that for a second. Maybe you have this feeling that it's not safe to be yourself. How that shows up in real life, okay? In terms of your identity, you probably think you're just someone who's always been told not to be too much or just stay quiet, or something in how you were raised and how you grew up and how you were meant to stay safe at one point in your life. You didn't feel it was safe to actually be your true self, be your authentic self, speak your mind, right? The belief from that identity, if you're someone who's always been told not to be too much or not to be yourself, the belief is, I'm not allowed to be myself. Your nervous system says, it's not safe to be myself, right? The emotion could be the fear of being seen as yourself. So you've got that fear within your body. In turn, all of your identity, your belief, your nervous system, your emotion, all of that ties into how you actually show up. So you're in turn, when you feel it's not safe to be yourself, your behavior could be not showing up as you, not speaking when you want to, holding yourself back from what you want to do due to judgment from other people. Even it could be a parental figure or, someone in your life that maybe taught you it was safer to be who other people want you to be rather than be your authentic self, right? It could also be showing up as staying small and not going after what you want. Do you see how your identity, your beliefs, your nervous system, your emotions, all of that determines your actual behavior, right? And again, you can change your identity, you can change your beliefs, you can shift your nervous system to allow things that used to feel unsafe feel actually safe to you, okay? And in turn, it will affect all of your behavior. Another example I want to talk about is maybe I can't stay consistent, right? This is something that so many women struggle with, is they have this belief that they just can't follow through on the things that they say they want to do. And I want to talk about how the behavior loop of identity, belief, nervous system, emotions, and what that actually does to your behavior, okay? And how it can actually show up in your real life. So if you can't stay consistent, one of the main reasons that I see people don't stay consistent is because they're afraid to fail, right? And that's real. Failing is scary. Failing is hard. Failing creates judgment from other people. Failing can be scary if you're not used to it. Even for me, as an example, I have shifted my mindset around failing to be redirection and learning. But don't get me wrong, when I first started in entrepreneurship, failing was the scariest thing to me because I didn't want to disappoint myself. I didn't want other people to see me fail. I thought like, oh my gosh, what are they going to think about me if I fail? But guess what? Now I don't care if I fail because I know that I learned something from it, and I'm never going to make that, I don't even want to say mistake. I'm never going to go that direction again because I've learned from it. Do you see how that changes how you actually show up, right? If I'm not afraid to fail, I'll just throw things at the wall and do things and try things and go after what I want because I'm not afraid to fail. But if I was, like I used to be, I'd be timid and scared and all of these things. And of course, I'm not saying I shifted my belief in everything's easy for me now and I don't care about what other people think. There's always new layers, we're like an onion. There's always new layers to uncover. But I can say with so much certainty that I'm not afraid to fail. 99% of the time anymore. This invisible wall, that's what I always think of limiting beliefs as. These invisible walls or bricks that you can see where you want to go, but something feels scary. There's something holding you back internally and you don't know what it is. Those are what those limiting beliefs are. And that's exactly what recoding actually does for you, because we can remove that invisible wall. It's so much easier to be able to show up in, again, for this example, stay consistent. Do the things that you want to do. Do the things that you say you're going to do. Become the woman who truly trusts herself, right? Okay. And that doesn't come from just changing your behavior, right? We got to go deep. We got to go onion layer by layer. Get to that root of what is the reason you're afraid to fail? Who made you feel small? Who told you that failing was a bad thing? When did you fail and someone told you that it wasn't safe, right? So how I can't stay consistent or I'm afraid to fail shows up in real life, your identity. You probably think of yourself as, I'm not someone who shows up for herself and I can't trust myself, right? The belief is, I don't trust myself to show up. And again, that can come from that fear of failure. Your nervous system says it's not safe to trust or show up for myself, right? You're probably in fight or flight or a freeze state. Your freeze state is kind of like, you know what to do in your head, but for some reason you just can't get yourself to do it, right? You just can't get yourself to show up for the third time to the gym, even though you said you were going to. You just can't post on your story because it feels too scary, right? Now, that emotion tied under it, again, it's probably fear. It could be that fear of failure, fear of disappointing yourself, fear of disappointing others, right? Those are very real and actually stopping your behavior. Now, your behavior is going to look like self-sabotage. You're probably going to start for a few days and then you're going to stop. Or maybe you're going to think about starting, but never end up actually following through. It's like you have in your brain, you know what to do. You're like, okay, I want to become an influencer. I want to grow on social media. Cool. I just have to post. Yet maybe you post a couple, it feels scary, but you do it anyways. And then all of a sudden you stop because something came up. This fear of judgment, this fear of failure came into your brain. What if people are judging me, right? I'm not the kind of person who follows through. Why is this going to be any different? All of those fears and emotions and beliefs are so real. And they actually stop you from taking the action, which in turn will stop you from, again, with the influencer example, actually following through and actually posting to be able to become an influencer and see the growth that you crave, right? So yes, we take a very internal approach, right? But that's so we can show up in the energy of the human that we want. So we're recoding our inner world. We're looking at those blind spots, right? That's why I have a coach. I have a coach because I am like, I can't see past my own bullshit. I'm like, I have all the tools to reach any goal that I want, but guess what? I can't see my own blind spots. I can't see those beliefs that are holding me back. And that's what I help guide my clients to. I can see exactly where you are, the journey, the depth, the emotions, the limiting beliefs that we need to get through so you can reach your full potential and actually reach all of your wildest dreams and goals, okay? I can see where you cannot. And that is the power of investing in a mentor. So, on the topic of recoding, I want to talk about emotional mastery as well, because this is something that I think a lot of people try to ignore, especially in a world where we're in this discipline, right? Like, ignore your emotions and do it anyways. And I disagree with that. I think you need to learn how to process and feel your emotions so you can actually show up as a disciplined person who trusts herself, right? It's not about ignoring your emotions. It's about understanding how to actually master them, right? Your emotions control your behavior. Period. End of discussion. One of the many things that control your behavior, but what I believe to be true is your emotions are the biggest reason you either show up or not. And when you can actually master those and feel them and process them and let them go, you just become unstoppable because you know that if you have this big emotion or you're triggered, right, you know what to do with that. You're not going to take it out on other people. You're not going to use it as an excuse to avoid actually showing up for yourself. You're going to process it if you have the capacity in that moment. If not, you're going to do it later, because trust me, emotions build on top of emotions. If you push it down and suppress it, it does not go away. It lives in the body, it lives in the mind, and it will come out one way or another. It might be exploding on your partner for not doing the dishes, right? It might be promising yourself you're going to go to the gym, but you don't because you feel so overwhelmed and don't know what to do with yourself. So you end up sitting on the couch and ordering takeout. It could be promising yourself that you're going to post online or start your side business, but you have so much information in your brain and all these fears and shame and stress around failing that you decide, you know what, I'll just do this tomorrow, right? It's that avoidance. It's that pushing it off. Mastering your emotions is so powerful because it's going to impact how you actually show up in the world. And people feel emotions, right? We live in an energetic world, and whether you like it or not, people feel your emotions. Let's just say you go to a coffee shop and you're looking for a new job. If you are in this energetic state of just, I don't want to talk to anyone, I'm so upset right now. Okay, even if you're not being rude to anyone, people can feel that. And if you understood how to regulate your nervous system and feel your emotions to process them, not only are you going to feel better, but you're going to attract opportunities. Maybe there's someone in the coffee shop who has your dream job and you spark up a conversation because you're feeling good and excited. And that ends up turning into an opportunity where you get interviewed at where they work, right? Or maybe you work directly for them, right? Our energy, our emotions, everything is tied into our brain. Everything is tied into the opportunities that come up for us. And again, this is exactly the work that I do with my one-to-one clients in the code. There are reasons why you are the way that you are. There are reasons why you don't show up in the way that you want to. There are reasons why your emotions are taking over your life and your action. You have the potential to be whoever you want to be in this world. All it takes is doing the inner work, recoding all of your shadows, your beliefs, and your nervous system so you feel safe with the success that you want and the success that you desire. Nothing is too big. Nothing, okay? You just have to build that capacity. You need to shift your identity, recode your beliefs, regulate your nervous system, master your emotions so you can show up as that version of you, right? If you want to get signed up with a free 30-minute recoding audit, I would absolutely love to chat with you, okay? In the recoding audit, we're going to look at what state your nervous system is in. What are your main beliefs that are blocking you from actually showing up and being the version of you that you want? So in turn, you can reach your full potential, reach all of your goals, and show up as the woman who knows exactly what she's meant for, okay? If you want to get signed up for a free 30-minute call with me, again, that link is down in the description below. Spots are limited, so make sure that you are jumping on that if that's something that you're craving, okay? The last step to reinventing yourself is planning, okay? It's so great that we're doing the inner work. It's so great that we have this vision of who we want to be, where we want to go. But now is where we actually put in the work to actually become that version of you, okay? I don't know about you, but I love planning. I think it's so fun. I love the inner work, but planning is fun. And don't get me wrong, planning can also become an avoidant pattern where instead of doing the work, you're just planning. But when you actually break it down in this step-by-step system, it's going to allow you to see those goals, break them down into actionable habits, okay? So now your 90-day plan, right? What you're going to do first is you're going to set a couple big goals. And I recommend keeping it pretty simple. You can do a financial goal, a career goal, a health and fitness goal, a relationship goal, whatever it may be, right? Choose 2 to 3 areas of your life, right? Maybe you have get in the best shape of your life goal, okay? That's under health and fitness. Amazing. Love that. But I also want you to clarify what that actually means. Is that under a certain weight? Is it fitting into a certain pair of jeans? You want it to be actually clear on how you know when you've actually reached that goal. Because getting in the best shape of your life, that's so broad. What does that mean to you? And that means something different for everyone, right? So what does that actually mean to you? So health and fitness, get in the best shape of my life, insert specific, clear goal, okay? Maybe you want to do a career goal. Maybe you want to get promoted. Maybe you want to start a side hustle, whatever it may be. You're going to list out the area and then your big goal. After that, whatever your big goals are for the 3 months, then you're going to break it down into 1 month goals, okay? Based on your big 3-month goals, what goals need to happen in order for you to accomplish your big goal, your 3-month goal? Maybe that's sign 5 private clients in 3 months, right? Underneath that, what is your 1 month goal? Okay, maybe you want to hit 20K months in 3 months. What is your 1 month goal to hit that? Okay, get in the best shape of your life. What is your 1 month goal? Maybe it's like 130 pounds or whatever. What do you need to hit in month 1 to reach that big goal? Then once you have your monthly goals, then you're going to look at those every single day. Be like, cool, these are my monthly goals. What do I need to do this week to actually hit that? The habits and the action, okay? Work out 4 times a week. Maybe that's hit 10K steps. Maybe it's meal prep, right? Maybe it's getting started on your side hustle. Maybe it's, creating a landing page. Maybe it's, starting a podcast, right? Like whatever it is, we're starting big, narrowing down into the 1 month goals, then into the weekly action items. So you know exactly what you need to do today to be able to reach that 3-month goal, okay? The thing that I really want you to understand is your big goals should tie into your monthly goals, which should tie into your weekly action items, okay? And I want you to put these into your calendar. And if you want a very easy way to do this, literally everything that I just mentioned, right? Not only the planning section, but creating your future self identity. I created the future self system where you can get a 7-day free trial. So you can go ahead and map out your future self identity. You can list out your goals based on the area, whether that's career, money, health, and fitness. You can have your big goals and then break them down into monthly and then weekly action items, all the way down to actually time blocking your habits. You can do this on your computer and on your phone. And there's even monthly recalibration. So you can reflect on what's working, make sure your goals are still in alignment, and map out what your next month goals are so you stay on track. Okay. We're not in the business of being busy, right? We want to be intentional with the actions that we're actually taking so they actually align with who you want to be and what your big goals are. So again, if you want to go ahead and get access to a 7-day free trial of the Future Self System, that link is down below. Of course, if you have any questions at all, you can shoot me a message on Instagram at Ashley Roberts. I strongly believe that you need to do the deep inner work. I also strongly believe that you need to put in the action and be strategic. And the thing is that you need to create your own plan. Why? Because you know exactly what to do, right? Even if you need to recode your limiting beliefs, refine your identity, regulate your nervous system, right? Master your emotions, all of these things may need to be done first so you can see a clear path. But I know you're here, you're listening, you're ready to take that next step with yourself, okay? I believe in you, my love, okay? That was a lot of information, but I know and I believe wholeheartedly that you are here for a reason and you are meant to do the deep inner work to reach your full potential, okay? I just know it. If you want to get signed up with the free recoding audit, that link is down below. Okay, my loves, that wraps up this episode. Thank you so much for being here. I absolutely loved being in your ear or on your screen. Of course, if you have any questions at all, go ahead and shoot me a message at Ashley Roberts on Instagram, and I'd love to chat with you. Okay, my loves, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next episode.